here, and I'm delighted to interview Marc Lamont Hill. For the two Mikes who changed his life, Michael Eric Dyson, mentor, teacher, and dear friend, who placed before me an open door. And Michael Brown, who died on August the 9th, 2014, so that a new generation of freedom fighters could live.
Was and is the kind of model of possibility for Black intellectual life. There are others, but for me personally, and there was this guy in front of the chapel, and he kept saying things that would keep me and my best friend, Arlen Lewis McCoy, who's a professor now at City College, a brilliant sociologist. We were sitting there just trying to figure out the world. And this guy was giving us everything we wanted, didn't even know it yet. You know, he was talking about Howard Thurman, Martin King, and Plato, and Socrates, Kant and Hegel. Then he started spitting Biggie lyrics. It was Michael Eric Dyson. August 9, 2010, a brave mother stood up and said, "I have had enough." A nation of young people, people who we said don't care about the world, a nation of young people who we said are disaffected and depoliticized. They ain't doing nothing but playing video games, listening to rap music, and doing all the wrong stuff. They left their homes in St. Louis and in Chicago and in Baltimore and Philadelphia and LA and all around the world, from Ferguson to Palestine. They came to the ground and they marched and they struggled and they resisted. And because of what happened on August 10th, we have had the strongest, most sustained, and most effective freedom-fighting resistance movement to state violence in American history. That's the story. Michael Brown didn't die in vain. Freddie Gray didn't die in vain. Sandra Bland didn't die in vain. Walter Scott didn't die in vain. How do you get people who are privileged to give their privilege back? What are we willing to sacrifice? We want white folk to sacrifice whiteness and white privilege, but how many of us are willing to sacrifice our privilege, our economic privilege, our gender privilege, our sexual identity privilege? What are we willing to do here? What are we willing to give up here? You cannot have freedom without sacrifice. You cannot have justice without taking losses. I can't promise you that if you speak out and tell the truth and organize and struggle that you won't lose. I'm telling you, you will lose. Yes, maybe everything. But we come from a tradition that has always taken losses but understood that the victory was bigger than us. That the struggle was bigger than us, that the victory is in the struggle. And that we may not live to see the outcome that we desire, but perhaps our children or our children's children will witness a world where justice is available, where democracy is existing, where freedom is possible. We can do that if we're willing to sacrifice today. Sometimes that sacrifice means that we got to tell the truth in a place that might compromise our public position.
Right.
Sometimes I got to tell the truth on TV and I might get fired like I did at Fox.
Right.
Sometimes I might lose a friend, or I might lose a title, or I might lose a job, or I might lose a check. But we have to be willing to do that because people have taken bigger losses than that. Mike Brown is dead today. Sandra Bland is dead today. Walter Scott is dead today. Katherine Johnson is dead today. But we have to believe in y'all. If y'all are Christian in here, y'all got to believe that death is nothing but a momentary pause. And that death doesn't have the last word on anything. We can't give death the last word. We cannot give death the last word. State violence is death. Flint is death. Baltimore is death. Hempstead is death. But we cannot give death the last word. At every moment where the world has said, you are nobody, the people at the bottom have always said, no, we not. Sojourner Truth said, ain't I a woman? Yes. Some of you stood and held signs in Baltimore. Some of y'all went down to the mall on August 28, 1963 and held up signs and said, I am a man. when they said that you were nothing. Some of you stood with Rainbow Push when Jesse said, I am somebody. They said you were nobody. You said, I am somebody. And some of you young people have stood in the streets of Ferguson and said, when they said you didn't matter, when they said you were worthy of death, you said, no, Black Lives Matter. That is what it means to push back. That is what it means to resist. That is what it means to fight. When they say you nobody, you say we somebody. And that somebodyness plays out in the polls. That somebodyness plays out in the street. That somebodyness plays out when we write books. That somebody plays out in our spirit. That somebodyness plays out in how we raise our children. That somebodyness plays out in how we make sense of a world, not just the one we in, but the world that is not yet. I want you all to thicken your freedom dream. I want you all to expand your radical imagination. I want you all to dream a dream bigger than any dream you've ever dreamed before, and imagine a world where we will all be free, where we will all be safe, where we will all be whole. And we can do that if we struggle today. So let's commit today to doing that. Can we do that?